Hello everyone and welcome to the Green Man channel. Hope you're doing good and well. So it's time for a new album review this Sunday, and I'm talking about the second full-length studio album from US extreme metal band Aversed. This is their album Erasure of Color, which came out on Friday the 21st of March via M Theory Audio, and the album is 9 tracks and 40 minutes in length. And it's 40 minutes which you don't really notice go by. This is a pretty ferocious melodic death metal, which incorporates, I think, some progressive metal and elements of technical kinds of metal as well. And it provides a very satisfying listen. You know, there is rarely a dull moment on this album. Even when it slows down, it remains interesting. And that's partly, I think, down to the fabulous guitar displays of Sung Woo Jung and Alden Marchand. But not only that, you also have the really good vocals of Sarah Hartman, who's new to the band, I believe, for this record, the singer. She does some really kind of quite gurgly gutturals, as well as some really good clean singing as well throughout the record too. And what you end up with, I think, is, as I say, a 40 minutes journey of, pretty interesting, challenging yet digestible death metal with deviations and twists and turns that are always, feel right for the songs as well. They don't really feel out of place. And I think given some of the scope of this record, that's actually quite impressive too, that it's quite challenging, but it stays fairly centered with what it's trying to achieve as well. I think one area of slight criticism I do have with the album is with its production, which I think is a little consistent. Like sometimes I don't always feel like the vocals come through quite enough for me on the mix, but otherwise we have a bit of a banger here, everybody, and I hope that you too, if you get the time amidst all these releases that we get this time of year, you do get the time to check this one out, because it thoroughly deserves your attention, in my opinion. I think it's a really great metal album. Now I'm going to talk about some of the songs on this album. The first one I'm going to talk about is Lucid Decapitation, which, funnily enough, actually sounds a little bit like a Decapitated song, with that sort of low-end guitar shredding, the groove, the technicality. It's a really great track on this album. I think it was one of the singles as well. A really strong song on this album. I also wanted to talk about Burn too, which is one of my other favourite tracks, which is a bit of like a mix of a death song and a Mudvayne song. So if those two bands had a love child, this song would maybe be the sort of what the child would sound like. It's kind of got a stomping riffage that you might expect from, say, Mudvayne or something, but with all these crazy tempo changes as well. And it's a really, really great song with a moment. I'm going to pinpoint the moment in the song. It's 1 minute 35 seconds, but don't go straight to that moment when you're watching the song or the video for the song, or when you're listening to it rather. Make sure that you listen to the whole song, but just be aware at 1 minute 35 seconds is where there's this change, this breakdown, and it's just absolutely 100% an awesome moment in the song. And I think it also does somewhat exemplify what's great about this album, that it's a bit unpredictable in the best way possible, but also, really enjoyable at the same time. The only track actually that I didn't enjoy as much on this record, weirdly, is the opening song, which I still think was quite good, but it didn't stand out nearly as much for me as the rest of what we got on this record. For some reason that one didn't do quite as much for me. I just felt it was sort of a little too there weren't so many sort of big moments with either the guitar work or necessarily the sort of chorus or anything that really stood out to me in this track so much. So oddly, it's an album that doesn't start the way that it kind of continues with, so make sure that you don't just listen to the opening track and stop, because you're going to miss out on a hell of a lot of great stuff on the rest of this record, I'm telling you now. I also liked the way they wrapped up this album with this song called Departures, because I thought it sort of packaged up a lot of the best moments of the album together. And I think sometimes it's good when live songs do this. They showcase the band. They finish the album on a high, it's not like one of these kind of short outro tracks which does nothing and ends the album on a whimper. This one ends the album on an absolute high. So, in conclusion, Aversed Erasure of Color is an album I certainly don't want to erase. It's one that I'm going to be repeat listening to, I think, probably throughout this year. And it's maybe the first metal album as well, which is going to get a Green Man 9 out of 10, a much, a much sort of coveted score. And hopefully, you guys will check this one out. I hope you enjoy it as much as me. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Maybe you don't like this album, maybe you do. Let me know your thoughts, and otherwise from me, until next time, until the next review or the next video on the channel, from me, it's bye for now.